How's it going, everybody? This is Kaveh the Blacksmith. Thank you so much for being with us, and this is the Leftist Uprising. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe, like this video, share as much as you can. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you want also to follow me on Twitter at left_blacksmith, that would be much appreciated as well. So let's just get to the news. And just so for those of you that I probably I haven't obviously mentioned it because this is the first show, but the way I plan on doing this show is basically to cover the news based on how my followers on Twitter actually, reporting stuff, not reporting stuff, but at least as far as like the kind of stuff my followers who I'm very connected with on Twitter are, the kind of things they're talking about on Twitter. Those are the kind of things that I want to cover. And those are the kind of things I want to comment on because those are the things that are really more important than anything, at least from my worldview, because those are the people that I'm connected with the most. And, I can definitely relate to them on that level much more than, covering something from the New York Times or Washington Post or some bullshit, mainstream media outlet, which is just going to cover some news that I honestly don't really care about. I mean, I'm not saying I'm never going to cover anything from, the New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, but it's just that's not going to be the main outlets that I'm going to be referring to when I'm reporting on what's going on. It's just going to really be what my followers and the people that I'm following are talking about, because those are the people that are most important to me, at least when it comes to politics. So that's basically how I'm going to run this show. So let's get to it. So let's see what's going on today. So one of my favorite accounts actually that I follow is Caitlin Johnstone at Kate Oz. She's a really good account. She's been definitely saying a lot about going after capitalism, rightfully so. She says there's no good version of capitalism. Any system in which good behavior is driven by profit will necessarily see a steadily mounting rise in exploitation, inequality, ecocide, and militarism, because all of those things are profitable. We need to end the profit motive itself. Yeah, that's so true. And something that a lot of people probably don't know about me is I wasn't always like the anti-capitalist type, because I always figured I'm like going out, I'm buying clothes, I'm buying shoes, I'm buying, I'm buying iPhones and stuff. I'm taking part in the capitalist system, basically, And I always kind of figured, before I really got into developing my political knowledge and my theoretical views on politics and different capitalism, Marxism, communism, socialism, all noticing all these things and noticing all, obviously differentiating between them, I realized that, the capitalist system doesn't mean so much as what you are taking part in, but it is what you are advocating for. And I definitely do not advocate for any kind of system that exploits workers, that is all about helping the 1% or the 0.01%, whatever it is, the very top, income earners. I'm about, I'm honestly really much more of an anarchist in the sense that I believe that we need to give as much power to the workers so that they can have much more rights, much more opportunities to better their lives. And that, to me, that's an anarchist point of view, especially when it comes to, workers, especially when it comes to the workforce and, in many cases, unions and whatnot. So I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me on the views on like what anarchism really is, like the kind of like a takeover kind of thing. I think the more pejorative. The pejorative definition of anarchism is more like, everybody's going to take over, and this is anarchism because it's so like everybody's going crazy and going wild, and it's like the wild west out here. But no, in reality, the wild west is capitalism, where everybody's allowed to do whatever they want, the free market. Everybody's allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, and nobody has a grasp on anything, and nobody's allowed to, nothing's allowed to be regulated, nothing's allowed to be kept to a certain limit or a level, and that's just not right. I don't think that's that's not right on any level. And that's why a lot of the countries that do actually have regulations, I know that's a scary word for right wingers and fucking conservatives and shit, but regulations are actually a good thing, even though it is being imposed by the government. But I mean, as long as we have a government in there that's doing the right kind of regulations, then it makes sense. Because there's a lot of times regulations aren't always going to be great. It's not like every single kind of regulation is a wonderful, amazing, perfect thing. It's just like certain things definitely need to be regulated. And I think big corporations for sure need to be regulated, especially when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to necessities, healthcare, housing, like education. So they don't want privatizing the fucking schools and stuff is the worst thing ever. So private schools are terrible. I think public schools need to be definitely much more those need to become much bigger than they are now, much more prevalent than they are now. And obviously the right wingers don't want that, because they want to make private schools so they can have like the Christian schools and then indoctrinate everybody with their bullshit. So yeah, definitely the view that I have, I'm really like kind of in many cases a libertarian socialist. I'm a left libertarian, but I have a lot of sympathy and a lot of understanding of socialist, communist and Marxist views and all these different views, Leninist views, because now that doesn't mean I support all of those things 100%. That just means that I definitely understand where those views are coming from and why they are very prevalent on the left, and they should be. It's one of those things that you can't just think of it in a sense that it's like, well, you need to either be one or be the other, and then just only be a communist, only be a socialist, only be only believe in one thing or another. No, I am open to hearing all these different ideologies and all these different point of views, and educating myself as much as possible. Because another thing that I love about being on Twitter is that a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter and people that follow me, well, specifically the one that I follow, regardless of whether or not they follow me, but a lot of the people that I follow, I've become radicalized because I've listened to or read what they've said. So a lot of the leftist writers and podcast hosts and just regular hosts in general that have shows on YouTube and stuff. Those people are definitely people that have radicalized me and helped me become a lot more understanding of left-wing ideologies and labels. And I definitely give them a lot of credit for that. That's why I like to do a show like this where I, espouse their views and, put that out there for other people to see as well if they're not already seeing it. So, but yeah, Kate, what's her? Kate Oz, her Oz is because she's from Australia, but Caitlin Johnstone, I'm sorry, she's a really, really good reporter. She's a great writer. She's written a lot of good articles out there and stuff. And I definitely encourage you to follow her if you haven't. So the next thing I want to change. One second. Sorry about that. My cat was playing with his little toy and was making noise, so I didn't want that to distract me. But anyway, another great follower is Black in the Empire. He's a really good account, very good leftist account, a very independent thinker. Let me show you here in a second. Hold on. Here it is. So he says this is not a drill. They are now stating that their goal is 98% vaccinated, which means that everybody against these mandates and passports or whatever tools they have planned had better start coming together. So my view on the whole vaccination debate and who should be vaccinated, who should not be vaccinated, I think it's really a very nuanced conversation, and I got the vaccine, so I'm not anti-vaccine, but I'm also not in favor of shaming people into getting the vaccine. I'm not into like like, oh, well, you better get it. And if you don't, you don't care about other people's lives and stuff. I think it's much more complicated than that, because a lot of people just don't want to have things put into their bodies. And a lot of them say, like, it's, not cleared by the FDA, and it's not, is it the FDA? Whoever approves I think it's FDA, whoever approves the vaccines, but it's not, it's not cleared by the experts and stuff. Like, honestly, I don't know if that's the truth. They say it is, but it's like, I'm very skeptical of that kind of stuff, and I'm not the kind of person who's just going to be like agreeing with whatever. Like, oh yeah, well, I just need to do it because everybody else is doing it. And there's been a big debate kind of coming kind of. I don't know about it's not in the political, it's definitely not in the political world, but it's more in the sports world, where a lot of like athletes have refused to take the vaccine. And I think that's also a little bit complicated, because a lot of players, they don't want to take it because they don't have they don't have a belief in vaccines. And that's, I disagree with that, but I'm not going to be the type of person who says you should get it or else. But if you do want to get the vaccine, I don't think you should necessarily. That doesn't like automatically means like you should be able to be allowed to play on the team. Because you can just go and play on another team. Go play on another team that allows their players to not be vaccinated, or go and play another league, whatever team, whatever it is. You don't have to play on that team. You have options for all kinds of different teams to play on. There's more than 30 teams pretty much in every at least men's pro professional league, whether it's soccer, basketball, football, hockey, and baseball. So they all have multiple teams. That's like upwards of 150 teams essentially, and you have a lot of options for teams. Actually, that's different, obviously, because there's basketball players aren't going to be playing on baseball teams, but you know what I'm saying? There's so many different teams out there. So you can, so like within that league, you could play for 29 other teams, essentially, at least. And, I think that's the fair thing to do as far as the players that don't want to, don't want to play on certain, don't want to take the vaccine and then like want to keep playing. They, unfortunately, you're out of luck. You just have to play on another team. That also doesn't mean you should be shamed into getting the vaccine. That's another thing. Like, you should definitely not be shamed into like, oh, how dare you? You're not pro-vaccine, or you don't want to take the vaccine. You're a terrible person. No, that's not what I believe at all. And it's really like the whole mandate thing, like the whole vaccine mandate. I don't believe, I don't really support it that much. I think, again, it's a very nuanced issue, and it's not as simple as just like, yeah, you should get it. It's one of those complicated things that people need to, that people that are anti-vaccine, the people that are anti or against, they hate the people that don't get the vaccine. They need to be a little bit more understanding, I think, of people that don't want to get it, and just hear them out. Now, I don't, I think the right wingers that are against it are much different than the left wingers that are against it. Now, a lot of the people on the left that are on the liberal, shitlib, progressive, or whatever the fuck they are, a lot of them will say, oh, well, the people on the left are making anti-vaccine arguments. They're not making anti-vaccine arguments. A lot of the people that have these, that are making the arguments that are critical of the vaccine are not anti-vaccine, because a lot of them have the vaccine and are vaccinated. I know a lot of these people because they've said it on Twitter, and they've, whether they do, shows and podcasts and stuff, they're critical of the vaccine, and they've gotten it anyway. That's what's his name did. Jimmy Dore, for example, is one example. Jimmy Dore, who I know is hated by a lot of shitlibs and progressives on the left, but he got the vaccine, and he was very critical of it. He went on Joe Rogan's show and criticized it, or was critical of it. He has kind of asked questions about whether, whether whether ivermectin is a good alternative and all that stuff, and then whether the big pharma should be trusted in this regard, whether we should trust them taking this vaccine, that obviously that's they're profiting off of it. So all big pharma wants to do is they want to make a profit, and they want to get this vaccine out there, and then they want to make money off of people that take the vaccine. And if you don't take the vaccine, then they don't make that profit. And I totally understand that point of view as well. Now I don't think that's the point of view that like a lot of the athletes are taking. I just think they don't want to do it. I think a lot of them are taking it for like not taking it or not wanting to take it for religious reasons. So that's kind of different. But I don't care on principle. If you don't want to take it, if somebody doesn't want to take it, I can't tell you to take it. Do I support? That doesn't mean I'm going to force you to take it. Doesn't mean I'm going to shame you into taking it. I just think, and it's. I think I'm probably guilty of being a little bit of a flip flopper on it because. But it's I see it more as evolving, seeing other people's point of view and being like, oh, okay, I see your view, I see what you're saying, and this is what I think now. So I'm not a flip flopper. I just think it makes me look like a flip flopper probably. But I think I'm just somebody that sees things at a more nuanced view, and I kind of evolve on my views. So let's see. So the next one. So this is another really good follower. He's actually a sexual harassment, sexual abuse expert, and he is. Hold on one second. Anyway, hold on. Let me go to switch this view here. Oops. So here it is. So Professor Zenkis, he's Anthony Zenkis. He's a sexual abuse and sexual harassment expert. He's done a very good job of putting the voice out there for putting a voice out there for Tara Reid and saying her name and kind of giving her a lot more of the publicity that she deserved and giving her support and everything because obviously he's been in that field and he's an expert in that field. So, but he's definitely gone back and forth with a lot of shit libs and stuff. So, so his tweet says, if none of the above was a choice, there would be no Republicans or Democrats in national office right now. Yeah, that's so true. The Republicans and Democrats, as many of the leftists that I know, the two-party system is so terrible right now. It's so fractured, and it's so extremely like people are just so sick of it. There's people that are so tired of this system that's just a two-party system. And you just have two choices, and that's it. And you have to live with whatever it is. And if you don't like it, you're some sort of like, you're some sort of, ironically, you're some sort of anti-democratic, not Democratic Party, but as far as anti-democracy, son of a bitch. And that's crazy. I mean, if the people that claim to be in support of democracy, which is Democrats, they're not really in favor of democracy because they don't want to have the Green Party. They don't want to have a Libertarian Party. They don't want to have any whatever, name it, put the name in their party, whatever the name of your party is, People's Party, whatever it is. And a lot of them, pretend to be in favor of democracy, but in reality they're not. They're just in democracy in name only, essentially. Democracy in name only, just like their own name, Democratic in name only. They're just dinos, and they just believe in democracy when it comes to, democracy for themselves, and democracy for the two-party system, so they can just focus on that. On that one boogeyman. They only want to focus on Republicans. They don't want to have to deal with the Green Party from the left and the Republicans from the right. They can't stand it. And then throw in Libertarian Party or whatever, independent, kind of a no labels type party. They can't have that. They don't want to deal with that. And I'm not sure if the Republican Party is against the Libertarian Party being involved, but they have taken part in the process that allows this two-party system to continue, and they are perfectly fine with it. It's just the Democrats are much more vocal in trying to keep out other options, and the reason why that is because they know that their voters, the Democrats know that their voters are they're much more open-minded in the idea of going to other parties. Now, I don't think that's really the case now, because I feel like a lot of Democrats are so hardline Democratic. They're so like, ugh, I love the Democratic Party. I could be wrong on that, but that's the feeling that I get. But that doesn't mean there's more Democrats that are more Democrats in the past, or there's more Democrats now than there was in the past. That the Democrats that have always been Democrats are much more louder and much more vocal. And they're much more, the whole like Russian hacking stuff, like that's really, gotten these people to become much more fucking annoying, and yelling from the rooftops, pretending as if they're standing up for something, and they're claiming some sort of hacking that didn't even fucking occur. So Democrats are much more louder and much more boisterous than they used to be. Let's just put it that way. And unfortunately, that's the truth. But that doesn't mean that they're right, obviously, and that doesn't mean there's more of them. They're just louder. But to be fair, there's a lot more leftists like myself and all the people that I follow and I'm affiliated with. We're a lot more louder than we used to be too. I used to be kind of a Dem loyalist hack myself, and I'm proud to admit it because I'm not like that no more. Or I'm at least proud to admit that I got away from that. I'm not proud that I was a Dem loyalist, hack or Dem loyalist in general. But I did used to be like that, and I totally evolved and got away from that. And I'm so happy I did. So I know what that's like. I know what the mentality of those people is. I know how they think. I know how they operate. I know that they're just pro whatever Democrats do and anti whatever Republicans do. And then any other, obviously, like I said before, any third party that gets involved, they say fuck you to them, and they don't want to have anything to do with them. They don't even want to reach out to them because they see them as too radical, which is ironic because the Republicans call the Democrats too radical, and the Democrats call the Republicans too radical. Now, that's not. It depends how you look at that. Republicans are very radical in the sense that they want to, implement radical policies, and so do Democrats to some regard. But the Democrats are also very, very. They're very pragmatic and very moderate and very right-wing in many ways. But they're also very radical because they are also pushing for the same fucking endless wars that the Republicans are, and pushing for, in many cases, a lot of the same kind of, economic policies that they are. And they're, deregulations, actually. So less regulations. In some cases, in many cases, they believe, cutting taxes in many cases, or at least not raising the tax rate to a higher rate. Not getting rid of loopholes. They're definitely in support of free trade, which is just bullshit. It's like it's not even actually free trade. In reality, it should be fair trade, not free trade. But and those are literal. That's a literal term. Fair trade is literally a term, whereas there's free trade, which is the more conservative, neoliberal corporatist policy. Whereas fair trade is actual fair trade especially when it comes to trading for goods and exports and imports and stuff like that, let alone shipping jobs overseas, which, a lot of the jobs that we have here end up getting shipped to China and fucking Bangladesh and Singapore and who the hell knows where, So, but yeah, free trade is another thing that's a huge liberal, neoliberal corporatist policy that I can't stand. And that's how the Democrats are very much radical in their ways. We're not radical. We might be radical in the sense that we want to change things radically, but we're not necessarily radical. We just believe in things we just believe people deserve to have necessities that they do not have. And they deserve to have them and keep them too. That's the whole point. This is another, hold on here. Make sure I got the right screen up. So this is another great account here. This is Dr. Fishbones at Dr. Fishbones. He's a really great account as well. I follow him all the time. I'll always retweet his stuff. And he says AOC stands will never forgive Jimmy Dore for being 100% right about her. And then he quotes a mocking quote. It says, "How dare you criticize my queen with valid criticisms of her record and constantly be proved correct for the past 9 months." So that's so true. And many of you may or may not know, but there has definitely been a big war between, I guess you could say, the Jimmy Dore left. The Jimmy Dore left and the kind of, I guess, the AOC TYT type left, squad type left. And it's definitely ratcheted up to a level that was never before, for sure. And I'm definitely on the Jimmy Dore side. I'm definitely on the at least these days anti AOC side, anti squad side, because I just can't stand them anymore. I used to follow all the members of the squad, even when I had my past accounts, my past Twitter accounts before they got suspended. I was following them. I was following, Rokana, Pramila Jayapal, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. Not Ayanna Pressley. Ayanna Pressley I do not like. She's like a Elizabeth Warren supporter, and she's from Massachusetts. It's not necessarily surprising that she would support somebody from her own state. But when Elizabeth Warren ran for president, she supported her and over Bernie and stuff, which whatever. But She was kind of insignificant, like, I don't care about her hair anyway, so insignificant to me anyway. But she she was definitely on that, don't fuck with her list, don't even bother with her. But when it came to when it comes to the whole battle between these two sides that we have here, I'm obviously on the Jimmy Dore side. I'm definitely on the side that doesn't make excuses for AOC, doesn't simp for her, doesn't try to make excuses. It's just like, and that doesn't mean that I agree with every single thing that Jimmy Dore says. That doesn't mean Jimmy Dore is 100% right on everything. A lot of people, may just disagree with, I think a lot of people more or less disagree with his, I guess you could call him tactics or his style or whatever the hell you want to call it. But a lot of people that don't like Jimmy Dore just can't stand that he's an angry guy. But honestly, if you're not angry at all the fucking things, all the capitulation that AOC and the squad have taken part in, especially when it comes to just servicing the Democratic Party and Nancy Pelosi and all the, corporate Democrats, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. And you got to be fucking blind to not see them doing that shit. It is as obvious as anything. It is obvious as day. Obvious, so fucking obvious as anything that they are, allowing the Democratic Party that they supposedly were going to go into and whatever, reform it or take it over or whatever the fuck they were going to do, and they haven't done anything close to that. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't, initially have that goal. I honestly, maybe I'm naive, but I think they initially had that goal and they just really realized that, well, you know what? It's easier to just become friends with these people and then supposedly work your way in and then, get whatever you want done. And then don't worry, just wait. We gotta wait a few years, more than a few years. But in their eyes, they're like, oh yeah, just wait a few years and then we'll figure things out eventually. Just be patient. Like that's basically what they're saying. And fuck that. I'm not going to be patient. I'm not going to wait. I didn't wait for you guys to get in there and just like work with the Democratic Party. And you want to work on good things, that's fine. If you want to work on Medicare, pushing Medicare for all, you want to work on free college, you want to work on a living wage and ending funding to Israel. I'll get to that in a second. But ending aid and funds and weapons deals and shit to Israel and all that stuff and Saudi Arabia and all that, that I understand. And, that's obviously I understand. Obviously, those are the things I support. But that's not what they're doing. And the best example was AOC. Now, to be fair, just to give you a background, there was a bill that was, I believe, 1.9 or 1.7, I think, $billion to the Israeli government for Iron Dome. So essentially renewing more Iron Dome, which is the defense system for Israel when they receive the dinky little fucking small ass rockets that come from the Palestinians and from Hamas when they are defending themselves against the rockets, the fucking huge ass rockets that are being dropped on them. So the rockets that are dropped on the Palestinians in Gaza and in Palestine, those are okay. They can do, and those end up killing scores and scores of innocent Palestinians, and maybe some Hamas people too. But they're killing more innocent Palestinians, kids, women, children, kids, whatever, babies, husbands, whatever the hell, their brothers, sisters, everybody. They're killing all different kinds of people. But then when one fucking dinky little rocket comes from the other side, when they're defending themselves, then they don't say shit. I'm saying they cry foul. Oh my God, how dare you? This is Hamas and terrorists are so terrible. I can't believe they get to do this. But you're doing fucking worse. You're killing more people. You don't obviously give a fucking shit about any human life if you're killing all these people, which you are. But then you fucking whine and cry when one rocket comes over to the other side and maybe kills one person or injures one person or two or three people. Who knows? However, it's in minuscule amounts. But whatever it is, it's nothing compared to what the amount of Palestinians they kill. Whether it was the incursion in 2014, whether it was, and that was a really bloody one, and that was one that politicians like Hillary Clinton and everybody were fucking making excuses for. I think even to some extent, Bernie Sanders was making excuses for, although not to the level that her and Hillary and all of her fucking neocon Democrats and Republican buddies were making. But majority of politicians were defending that, and then there was another recent incursion that happened in 2020. All these things, and I think even part of 2000 was it 2020 and 2021, could have been both 2020 and 2020, whatever it was. It's been recent that a bunch of stuff. So much shit happens, I lose track. It's crazy. It's like you just cannot keep up with all the terrible news, and it just keeps coming at us one after another. But either way, the politicians all defend this shit, and they don't give a fuck. And it's really shameful how these things happen. Now, I'm sorry, I got up to a little bit of a sidetrack here, but as far as what happened with AOC is she ended up, just to show you this tweet again so we know what we're talking about here. Is that it? No. Hold on one second. Oh, let me see. Is this it? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Here it is. Okay, so this is again the tweet from Dr. Fishbones. He says, the AOC stands will never forgive Jamie Dore, but that's kind of besides the point. But as far as what I want to say regarding the whole the what happened regarding the vote for Iron Dome is that AOC ended up. So initially AOC was going to vote no, and then apparently she had a conversation. I mean, there was video footage. I think the video footage is somewhere. It might be on. I think Glenn Greenwald posted it too. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. 1 second. But what happened was they ended up having a vote. AOC was going to vote, no. And then while she was on the floor, she was literally having a conversation with Pelosi, and then she started. I don't know. I guess she had like a back and forth with her, and then she it seemed like she was convinced to change her vote. And then she goes back to the another part of the Congress, going up the steps or something near a podium, and then she started like crying. She started crying, and then she started no, I can't find the video on Greenwald. I know Greenwald. I think Glenn Greenwald posted it. Anyway, so she started crying and stuff. Let me see if I can just find it. Maybe there's AOC crying. Is this it? AOC. Okay, so let's watch this here. Okay. Excuse me. So let me just play this clip real quick. 1 second. And then we'll discuss further after. But let me see. Okay. And then let's just play this clip right here, and then we'll see what happens.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania rise?
Madam Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Lawson of Florida, pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Mr. Lawson will vote nay.
There she is.
On House Resolution 483 amendment. He votes
talking to
nay.
Barbara Lee.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania rise?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Representative Reschenthaler of Pennsylvania, pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Mr. Reschenthaler will be voting nay on Bowman Amendment number 25.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York rise?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Representative Higgins, pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Representative Higgins will vote aye on the Bowman Amendment. And Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Representative Morelli, pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Representative Morelli will vote no on the Bowman Amendment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I don't think any of this is relevant.
Purpose does the gentleman from California rise?
Madam Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Stanton, pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Mr. Stanton will vote no on the Bowman Amendment.
Okay.
And as the member designated by Ms. Kirkpatrick, pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Ms. Kirkpatrick will vote no on the Bowman Amendment.
Okay, thank you. We got it. Yeah, so they were just saying that the whatever votes they want to make on these different on the Iron Dome vote, what they want to vote, yes, no, I guess, yay, nay, whatever. So yeah, I mean, as far as AOC goes, she I think in my opinion, definitely in the opinion of others other leftists that I been interacting with there, it's definitely their view that she changed her vote right on that House floor. So as soon as she, I can't see it there. So it doesn't show her going. Let me see if I can find the one where she's sparring with what is this? What is this? She's crass political maneuver. I don't know how to say that, but anyway, Pelosi, Iron Dome. Let me see if I can find it. I'm sure it's somewhere. What is this? Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. So here's another one. Oh my god, this is 4 minutes long. Okay, so it's funny how Forbes breaking news always has the thing for this, the footage of these things. But okay, let's watch this. Hold on, one second. Let's start from the beginning here. Hold on, sorry. Okay. Is there sound? Should be. Okay, so there's Nancy Pelosi right there. No, she's not talking to Pelosi. I'm sorry, she's not talking to AOC yet. What is that happening? We're not going to be sitting here watching this whole fucking clip forever. Okay, I think she's coming. Is that her? No, it's her. Okay, there's a person in red. Is that her right there? Somebody's swinging their arms. Hold on, somebody's swinging their arms. Is that her? Okay. She's interacting with somebody. She's having some sort of argument with somebody. Yeah, that must be it. So look at her. She's swinging her arms. She looks really pissed. She's always doing her fucking hand movements. She's saying, but they're not showing AOC. Show her. The fuck? Okay. We don't know who she's interacting with, though. That's not AOC. I guess she's off camera. Okay, looks like we're going to have to watch this whole thing then. So I guess after that is when she ends up going to Barbara Lee and ends up like hugging her and crying her and shit. And Barbara Lee says some things to her. But somebody's waving their hand. I don't know what's going on over here. Can't they like point to when this happens? If only we could tell that it's her. That'd make it a lot easier. Yeah, that's gotta be her, right? I mean, she's interacting with the same fucking person. And this is the clip that claims that it's her and AOC arguing. So I think that's her right there. I think it's AOC right there. At that moment, she's not interacting with her. But I think they already had the interaction. So obviously, now that I can see the clip, because I didn't see it before, now that I can see it, it's clear that Pelosi was saying something to somebody that appeared to be AOC who was off camera. You can see that the person's not in the camera range for some strange reason. But she's obviously I think this is Maxine Waters. So she's interacting with Maxine Waters here, and I think that last one was AOC when she was swinging her hands and somebody else was swinging their hands. I forgot what AOC was wearing. But anyway, no, it was her, though. I'm pretty sure it was her. Now she's interacting with somebody else, probably explaining the same thing she was saying to her, saying to this person. I don't know who that is. I think that might be Manuel Cleaver. I'm not sure. That's not AOC. Yeah. That's a Cori Bush. That's Cori Bush. That's not AOC. That's Cori Bush right there. Okay, well, anyway. His commentary seems kind of pointless. This is not really... it's not because it's not showing AOC, so it's kind of hard to decipher what exactly is happening other than the hand movements that we saw before. Would have been nice if they showed a zoomed view of them. I think that was her right there. Hold on. Go back a little bit. 1 second. See, that's her right there, right? That's AOC right there. That's her right there. Pause. Right there, right there. That's AOC. Okay, so I guess that was her then. Now, whether that was the person that was off camera that she was arguing with, I guess it's hard to say. Like I said, it wasn't zoomed in on them. She was off camera. She was to the left. And, like, they had some sort of interaction. But, yeah, based on that, it definitely seemed... Now the sound is back. The sound was never back before.
On this vote, the
everything.
yeas are 420. The
God.
nays are 9, with 2 recorded as present, 2/3 being in the affirmative. With the yeas are 420.
420.
The nays are 9, with 2 recorded as present, 2/3
Yeah,
being
one
in
of them
the
being AOC.
affirmative. The rules are suspended.
I don't know who
The
the other
bill
person
is
was.
passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
420 members of Congress. A Congress that is run... Okay, we're done here. A Congress that is run by the so-called Democratic Party. 420 members of the Congress, again, run by the Democratic Party, voted in favor of this awful fucking bill to basically kill more Palestinians. That's really what it is. I mean, if we're going to be honest, it's not defending. That's like with us. We're involved in, defense spending. All the defense spending is just meant for offensive attacks, where we go and bomb everybody to fucking smithereens, and that's just called a normal Tuesday, basically, So, yeah. So anyway, clearly AOC was cucked, as Kyle Glinski would say, from Secular Talk. She was clearly cucked by Pelosi, and basically told, like, oh my God, how dare you? How dare you? And I think that's why so you watch the video, that's why she ended up going that way and then changing her vote. Now, they don't say that she changed her vote, because I don't think that's what they do when it comes to the procedure, the whole procedural process in Congress. But when you saw her move to the other side of the screen, so going towards where there was the lettering over it, and she went to the middle part there, I think she was telling the clerk, the congressional clerk, to vote. And and to be fair, I don't know who the other they said. That's what the final count was, but she was one of them, and the other one was somebody else. But other people that should also be noted that voted for this for this legislation was Rolkana, Mondaire Jones, Jamal Bowman, Pramila Jayapal. Who was the other one? No members of the squad. To be fair, no members of the squad voted for it. So that's, well, for it. Obviously, like I said, AOC voted present, so she didn't vote for it. But that doesn't mean it's a good thing, because she could have easily voted no. And then I think that's all I can think of. And then the people noteworthy that did not vote for it was Raul Grijalva, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. Like I said, AOC voted present. Ayanna Pressley voted no. I don't know who else. Marie Newman. I think it's Marie. Marie Newman. Who was the other one? Oh, and then also, he's a Republican, but he's a Libertarian. He voted no. Thomas Massey is his name. He's a kind of one. Yeah, he's kind of your typical Libertarian who's just like against. He's just against. Like, he's a Libertarian. He's going to be like against, like, I guess, like funding the military that, like, obviously takes part in all these fucking terrible, like, not, well, obviously military thing. This is just a, waste of spending, essentially. But, he's also against, like, military spending and, endless wars and stuff. And, as many, like, kind of Ron Paul type libertarians would be. So Thomas Massey was another person that voted no. So that's good, too. Obviously, he's not part of the squad. But, yeah, so that was an interesting video, I guess. But like I said, I couldn't really tell what was going on, because I couldn't tell who it was that Pelosi was yelling at. But who else would it be? It was clearly, based on the video says it's AOC, so I guess it's AOC. Nancy Pelosi and AOC. So, yeah, so she clearly got cucked by Pelosi. Not shocking at all. That was already something that was happening behind closed doors anyway. Always calling her mama bear and, like, sucking up to her and pretending as if she's like the fucking main, steward of the party, the queen of the party or something, runs all this shit. In reality, it's the fucking donors who run everything. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Let's see. So this is something interesting I came across. So this is this is Wicked Bastard, one of the newer accounts I followed since joining Twitter earlier this year, and they are mentioning, or they actually quote tweeted a tweet from originally from Jordan Chariton, where it shows that so his tweet says, let me show you this tweet. He says that Nina Turner is going to be running for Congress again in 2022. Not shocking. I don't think anybody is surprised by that. The issue that a lot of left-wingers and leftists have with that is that Nina Turner has essentially become co-opted by the Democratic Party, and she's not even part of the Democratic Party as a member of Congress yet. She's already been co-opted by them. She's already been co-opted by the so-called progressives, because she just joined TYT, which I used to be an intern I used to be a part-time intern for a few months in the summer, many years ago, and yeah, so I know all about how shitty TYT is, let alone regardless of my time there as an intern. But she has decided, just recently, was it like a week ago or week and a half ago or something like that, decided to join as a guest hosting shows and being a guest on some of their fucking panel type shows and shit. So and then she was basically signed on as a contributor to TYT, and she's obviously going to do that to rise, to get her name up there, to get her name more, I don't know, I guess more relevant to progressives. Not that we don't already know. I mean, I'm not saying she should go work for CNN or anything. I'm just saying that it's just like you're just going into an echo chamber of like progressives, basically. Now, that doesn't mean, again, that you should go CNN, but at least if you go to CNN, you're going to be taking on a bunch of people who are going to be arguing against the policies that you support, and then you could go on there and say, hey, listen, we need Medicare for all, we need free college, we need a living wage, all the things that Bernie Sanders has always advocated for. Many progressive leftists have been advocating for, still advocating for. She could have easily done that, but whatever. But just going into that echo chamber of like, oh well, yeah, those things are all great, and also the leftist radicals that are not fans of TYT are terrible, basically. Oh, we shouldn't be too radical, and we shouldn't attack the squad. We shouldn't call out AOC. We shouldn't do all these mean things to AOC because she's such a victim. That's, by the way, that's another thing that AOC did. She portrayed herself as a victim in her little like response after she did her present vote on the Iron Dome bill, Iron Dome funding. I'm not gonna read it to you guys, but it was like bunch of fucking drivel, and she just basically portrayed herself as the victim, like, oh, I'm getting death threats and stuff because of my because of I don't know, my no vote or my present vote or whatever it is, or my vote of she's pretending as if she's like in danger of something. She did the same exact thing when it came to that January 6th insurrection that happened, so-called insurrection that happened. She said, oh, I almost got murdered, and then I don't know, she even responded like Ted Cruz on Twitter, who said something, and then said something about like, oh, I agree with AOC on something, or we should push this legislation or something. And then she said, no, I'm not going to work with anything on you, even though they're in different chambers, but I'm not going to work with anything on you because you almost had me murdered or something. And that's not to apologize for her or fucking simp for Ted Cruz. He's a fucking prick. But I'm just saying in general, it's just gaslighting to pretend as if you're a victim for no reason. Now, I don't know if she honestly was almost murdered during the insurrection. Apparently, she claims, oh, I was in the Capitol building, when in reality she was in another building or something. I don't know. So people are saying that. I don't know what the actual reality is, but apparently that is what people are saying happened. So I don't know. But either way, she's just constantly portraying herself as a victim, and I just don't have any time to deal with that. I don't have any time to be on her side for something like that. It's just fucking annoying. But anyway, sorry. Again, sidetracking here. But it looks like Nina Turner is going to be running again in 22. Definitely not surprising. Sorry, 1 second. And then Jordan Chariton Has another one. She's a follow-up tweet. He says, in defeat, Chantal Brown, who had $3 million in super PAC money, flood in before an election Turner won. 5 of Cleveland's nine black majority wards. So she won. Won 5 of Cleveland's 9 black majority wards. Lost 4 black Cleveland wards by under 2 points. Won the city of Cleveland and black majority city of Akron. Got crushed in wealthy white suburbs. Yeah. No, that's true. That is what happened, in my opinion. So a lot of the leftists on, that I'm associated with, they want to say like, well, she lost because she didn't attend the Medicare for All rally. I believe there's a Medicare for All rally right before her election. I don't think that was the reason she lost. It's very clear and obvious from the evidence that I've seen that she lost because she was up against a lot of big money, and she raised a lot of money too, but she was up against a lot of big money, a lot of neoliberal corporatist money, and like the thing he says here, got crushed in wealthy white suburbs, and that's very true. I forgot what that suburb area in Ohio was, in kind of that Cleveland-ish area was, but that apparently is what happened based on the what do they call it, like the exit polling and stuff. So. But regardless of all that, I think she should have still attended the rallies, the Medicare for All rally, because, and this was a point that Socialist MMA made. That's Nick Cruz, who's a great account. He's part of the Fred Hampton Leftists podcast, and he made a point on Jimmy Dore's show, which a lot of like the pro Nina Turner, pro progressive types, pro TYT types said was like, oh well, that doesn't count because. He was saying that because she didn't attend the Medicare for All rally and didn't kind of acknowledge what they were doing, and so people are attacking Nick Cruz for saying like that's bullshit and doesn't make any sense, and mocking him like I don't know, how can you say something like that, and he was on Jimmy Dore's show, so they were going after him and Jimmy Dore, and that's actually something that Anna Kasparian of 2x2 also retweeted and mocked or whatever. Called Jimmy Dore like baby brain or whatever, and to to an extent I agree that, again, I don't think it's true that she lost because she didn't attend the Medicare for All rally or didn't acknowledge the people that are pro Medicare for All and doing all that stuff, all the activist type work. But when it comes to acknowledging those people, acknowledging the people that host podcasts, that are progressives, that are fighting for the same things that Nina Turner is fighting for, if not stronger, because like I said, she's become very co-opted by the Democratic Party, and that's because she's in a district that is very pro-Obama, very pro-Democrat and all that stuff, very deep blue. Not very independent, but very deep blue. And the reason why they're saying that is because the activists and the podcast hosts and all the independent-minded people from the left wing of the Democratic, or not Democratic, but the left wing, is they are going to come out and bat for you much more if you're going to, acknowledge them. So they're going to acknowledge you if you're going to acknowledge them, and in this sense, acknowledge you in a positive way instead of a negative way. So leading up to the election, a lot of people were like, yeah, it would be good if Nina Turner won. But a lot of people were always like, yeah, fuck you, because you're not acknowledging our presence. You're just pretending to be, you're just trying to suck up to the Democratic Party and to the, the vote blue no matter who types, who she always called out, by the way. Nina Turner always called out those vote blue no matter who types, for sure. And she called all those people out, but she all of a sudden, she decided, she made a calculation. She made a political calculation, and she decided that I should actually probably suck up to the type, to the vote blue no matter who types, because otherwise they're not going to vote for me. Well, what happened? They ended up not voting for you anyway. Now, my point regarding from before is that if you do acknowledge the activists and independent podcast host types, you're going to get them on your side more, and maybe those people are going to be able to convince other people to vote for you. So maybe they'll convince a couple of Republicans to vote for you. Maybe they'll convince a couple of those vote blue no matter who types to vote for you. Who knows? You really never know. Or maybe even convince their own leftists to vote for you, right? So if somebody like her acknowledges she's somebody her like running for office convinces these activist types to acknowledges these activist types, they are going to want to go out there and convince other fellow independent leftist activist types or podcast hosts or whatever to go and vote for her too. And it's going to create like this domino effect of everybody wanting to go and support this person that is, in my opinion, does have very left-wing progressive, I'm saying real progressive roots. And she does, because we've seen it before. But now, she's just catering to the Democratic Party because she knows she has to. And like I said, it's a strong, blue part of Ohio, and they all voted for Obama, they all voted for Hillary, all voted for Biden, all that stuff. Hillary in 2016, Obama when he was president and also ran for re-election, and then also voted for Biden this time around. So, and those people, yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand you have to suck up to those people, but at the same time, you can't only do that. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can do multiple things at the same time. You don't have to just do one or the other. So that's what pissed me off. That's what pissed off a lot of other leftists too. So if she would just acknowledge the existence of those activists and of those leftist independent type people, she would have gotten us to, and I'm one of those people, she would have gotten us to go to bat for her much more. But what are the people that hate us and then love Nina Turner and love TYT and love the Squad and love AOC and all that stuff too? They say, oh no, fuck you, who cares? We don't need you anyway. We don't need you anyway. you guys are idiots because you think that she should have attended a Medicare for All rally. Like, how could you be against that? That's just crazy. And that doesn't mean that if she doesn't attend the rally, she's against Medicare for All. But at least go to it's not going to kill you to go to the rally. I don't know, release a statement about the rally, release a tweet about the rally, a video or something. But she didn't even do that because what is she doing? She's catering to the vote blue no matter who. She's voting to the hardcore blue Democrat types. And you lost. That's what you ended up. You sucked up these people and you still ended up losing. So what happened? Is a lot of that because of the the super PAC money as Jordan Chariton mentioned? Yeah, I'm not saying that's not, but that's not the only thing though. There's a lot of factors out there that are involved. So people want to ignore that because they don't want to give any credence, any credit to the leftist activists out there who are I don't know, pissing off even the progressive so-called Democrats out there. Yeah, well, that's what if you're triggered by that, then listen, that's your problem, bro. I don't know. We're just speaking out. We're not just going to be in lockstep with the progressives just because they're the furthest left thing we got out there. That's not the way it works. So anyway, this Wicked Bastard, he retweeted this tweet from somebody that pointed out that she's running as a Democrat, which and Jordan Chariton responded to this by saying that the let me show this tweet. So this says, hold on. So this shows that it says it says Jordan tweeting that the MPP, which is the Movement for a People's Party, they and the Green Party are not on the ballot in Ohio. It's either run as a Democrat in the primary or skip the primary and run as independent in the general election, which is Ohio 11th. The Dem primary is essentially the general, because whoever wins the Dem primary. General wins general election landslide. So because it's heavily blue, but yeah, and that's fine. I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, I would respect Nina Turner more if she would run as if she would run based on her morals, not her morals, run based on her principles, not based on like, oh, whatever is going to appeal to the Democrats that are going to eventually vote for me in a whatever primary or whatever it is, or the general and stuff. Anybody can say do that, but it's like that's obviously the easy way out, and that's why they do it, and that's the whole reason why Justice Democrats and stuff existed. Well, at least now we can see why it existed, because they ended up just kowtowing to the Democratic Party. But at the end of the day, or in the beginning, I think the Justice Democrats were out there to try and truly take over the party, but they obviously did not do that. And now they're just now they're just Democrats. Instead of just Democrats, they're just Democrats, or just us Democrats. So but yeah, and that's I'm not disagreeing with Jordan Chariton here, but at the same time, if you would just stick to your principles and just run as an independent, I would have a lot more respect for you, even if you lost. She ended up losing anyway. Now, yeah, she got a lot closer than she would as she were independent, but I don't trust the Democratic Party. I don't trust that. Look what the Democratic Party has done to the squad. They're a shell of themselves. They're a shell of whatever I guess that they used to be something. They're a shell of their former selves, and it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything anymore to this, up to this point. Now it's just like, who gives a fuck, the Justice Democrats, whatever squad. It's just they're a bunch of pussies. They have no backbone, and it's just annoying to see. Can't stand it. And then I'm sorry, I keep deviating from Wicked Bastard's tweet here, but he says. So after the person points out that he's running, that Nina's going to run for the Democrat under the Democratic Party label, the party affiliation, he says, but she had to run as a Democrat in the special election. Okay, but how about now? So referring to the future, to the future party, and Nina Turner was somebody that was actually accused by the Vote Blue No Matter Who, loyalist Democrats that she's going to run as the Green Party one day. She would love to run as the Green Party. She would love to run with Jill Stein, who I voted for in 2016. She would love to run with Jill Stein. She would love to run with Jill Stein in 2020 or something, whatever it is, in 2016. I'm sorry, 2016, just to get back at Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton is a former. So she had Nina Turner as a former surrogate. So Nina Turner switched over to support Bernie Sanders in 2016. So she, people were accusing Nina of she's totally going to try and get back at Hillary Clinton. That never happened. I'm not even surprised that it never happened. I wish it did, but that never fucking happened. So people were, the Vote Blue No Matter Who loyalists, Dem loyalist types were, coming up with that bullshit. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, Nina Turner has really become co-opted by the Democratic Party. I think she's going to be the same exact thing she was before. It's going to be the same shit. In fact, if anything, the fact that she's announcing her run or sooner, or at least, the fact that she, put her name in. What is it? Yeah, filed to run. I'm sorry. So the fact that she filed to run just gives her more time to integrate with herself within the Democratic Party and try to make friends within the Democratic Party. That doesn't mean she's going to completely abandon the more progressive types that, maybe we're more aligned with, although we can't stand them, but the leftists are more aligned with. But that still doesn't really, that still honestly doesn't really mean anything. So it's still a fucked up situation at the end of the day, because she's still going to be co-opted by the Democrats anyway. So this is an interesting tweet from Compton Made Me. This is a great account, Compton J. He also hosts a show, I think his own podcast, and he also does Fred Hampton Leftist with Socialist MMA, and a couple of other people, Unholy Rome, Jay DeBuffont, I think his name is on Twitter. So he says, what is the purpose of the CIA? Their actual purpose, not the duopoly mumbo jumbo. Any theories on which mainstream media figures, politicians, reporters were actual CIA? Yeah, I'm sure the responses are pretty hilarious here. But so what he's referring to is, so this person says, what is the purpose of the CIA? Their actual purpose, not the, yeah. So recently there was news that came out. We can even look at I believe WikiLeaks themselves put it out. But Julian Assange was apparently going to be, so like the let me see if I can find the article here. 1 second. Let me see. In fact, I think WikiLeaks might actually have the tweet. Let me see if I can find should I? Let me see. Hold on. WikiLeaks. Sorry, Assange, CIA. Yeah. So what is it from multiple? Wow, a lot of outlets here. So is this one too? When did this news come out? Okay, so the first article that came out was from Yahoo. So let me show you guys this. This is very bright. So check this out here. Let me see. Go to the thing. Fucking videos always at the top. I hate that shit. Let me show you. Here it is. So this is the headline here. It says kidnapping, assassination, and a London shootout inside the CIA's secret war plans against WikiLeaks. So this was on 26th. It came 2 a.m. September 26th. So it was yesterday. Today's the 27th. Yesterday at 2 a.m. So early in the morning it came out. And a lot of people were wondering, wow, this is the only article. It's from yahoo.com. Sorry, it's from yahoo.com. But yahoonews.com that released this news and about WikiLeaks and everything. And how Assange was going to be assassinated in 2016 under the Trump administration. So they were going to actually try and kill him. So, it says in 2017, as Julian Assange began its 5th year hold up in Ecuador's embassy in London, the CIA plotted to kidnap the WikiLeaks founder, spurring heated debate among Trump administration officials over the legality and practicality of such an operation. That's not fucking legal. Some of his senior officials inside the CIA and the Trump administration even discussed killing Assange, going so far as to request, quote, sketches or, quote, options for how to assassinate him. Holy shit. Discussions over kidnapping or killing Assange occurred at the highest levels of the Trump administration. Unbelievable. Said a former senior counterintelligence official. There seemed to be no boundaries. The conversations were part of an unprecedented part of an unprecedented CIA campaign directed against WikiLeaks. 1 second here. Hold on, I'm sorry. Here it is. Against WikiLeaks and its founder. The agency's multi-pronged plans also included extensive spying on WikiLeaks associates, sowing discord among the group's members. How do they know that? And stealing their electronic devices. While Assange had been on the radar of U.S. intelligence agencies for years, these plans for an all-out war against him were sparked by WikiLeaks' ongoing publication of extraordinarily sensitive CIA hacking tools known collectively as Vault 7, which the agency ultimately concluded presented the largest data loss in CIA history. Good. You deserve it. Fucking pricks. And here, let me just read this last part here. I'm sure there's more, but yeah, it's a long ass. I'm not going to read the whole fucking thing, but this gives you the crux of what happened. It says President Trump's newly installed CIA director, Mike Pompeo, was seeking revenge on WikiLeaks and Assange, who had sought refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy since 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden on rape allegations. Bullshit. The allegations he denied. Pompeo and other top agency leaders were completely detached from reality because they were so embarrassed about Vault 7, said a former Trump national security official. They were seeing blood. Okay, so yeah, that's fucked up and that's crazy. I can't even believe they were thinking about doing that. And it's pretty crazy that they wanted to do that, because when you think about it, in many ways, when you look back on it, it was actually the Hillary Clinton campaign that was very anti-Assange. They were very anti, WikiLeaks and stuff. They claimed that the WikiLeaks was in bed with the Russians and Putin, all that stuff, and because of the so-called Russian hacking that happened, and the Putin allowing all that shit to occur. And then because WikiLeaks did some leaking too, they must be aligned somehow. And all this time, obviously, Julian Assange denied that there was any of the leaks or the hacks or anything came from so that any of the leaking that was done by Russia that he got. So with that hacking happening, any of the leaks that WikiLeaks got came from Russia. He denied any of that happening. As Jimmy Dore has said, WikiLeaks has full 100% credibility. They've never gotten caught for doing anything, incorrect, publishing anything incorrect, lying about anything, making any shit up compared to fucking New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN. They've lied about all kinds of shit, whether it comes to endless wars and all the kinds of legal things that our government has done. They've gotten caught lying many times, but then they get all the kind of recognition for being so-called, real journalists and real, legitimate mainstream outlets when they're not. And the real legitimate ones are the ones like WikiLeaks and other news outlets that actually do publish good information. But WikiLeaks is legit. They're legit. They haven't been caught for doing anything, publishing anything that's bullshit. So, Don't even bother trying to make that argument with me or any other left winger, because we're not going to have it. But so this, it's very interesting that Trump wanted to do this. And regardless, Trump, Biden, even if Biden wanted to do it, Obama wanted to do it, Hillary wanted to do it, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I think Hillary even said that she would have preferred drone striking Julian Assange or whatever the fuck. So she's obviously a fucking warmongering maniac herself. But when it came to Trump, it's surprising because, like I said, WikiLeaks outed. So she outed all the. So I'm sorry, the WikiLeaks and Julian Assange and all them. They outed everything that all the illegal shit that the DNC did. So when the DNC rigged its primaries in 2016, they outed all that shit. They put that out there for all of us to see, and it was great. The Democrats hated it. Boo-hoo. Too bad for you. You got caught doing illegal shit, and that's what you deserve to suffer that, the consequences of that, and they did, and they got exposed for being for rigging primaries and against Bernie Sanders and making everything making Hillary Clinton basically basically running everything through the Hillary Clinton campaign for the primary and making sure that she wins and Bernie Sanders has no chance at all. So Hillary Clinton and the Democrats had it out for WikiLeaks after that happened from the outset, and that was I think in 2015. I think it was before the primary, like the first debate or whatever. It was during. No, I'm sorry. What am I saying? It was during the primary. So it was right kind of the middle of the primary, beginning to middle. Yeah. And they were exposed for that, and then, man, that was so long ago. I forget when it was. Yeah, I think maybe it was near the end. Who the hell knows? Who cares? But anyway, whatever it was, they did that, and then Hillary Clinton and all them, they wanted to go, after Russia, thinking they were involved, and then the WikiLeaks they obviously knew were involved and wanted to go after them too. And like I said, she joked about drone bombing Assange and stuff. Well, who knows if it was a joke? She probably meant it, but she said that kind of shit too, and so it's very surprising that Trump, who actually said so when the documents about the DNC and how the Hillary Clinton campaign rigged the primary and stuff, he said, release more stuff. She was saying about when asked about Russia and asked about WikiLeaks. So he kind of perpetuated that whole, that kind of whole stereotype of WikiLeaks being involved in the whatever hacking and shit like that. And then the fact that he wanted to to fucking murder Assange is pretty nuts. But again, I mean, honestly, we shouldn't really be surprised, especially since he got somebody like Mike Pompeo as CIA, the head of I think it was initially FBI and then CIA, newly installed CIA director. Wasn't he initially? Wasn't Mike Pompeo initially FBI director? But anyway, so a CIA director, the fact that he would put him in any position in his cabinet, whether it's CIA, FBI, or whatever. I think he ended up becoming Secretary of State later. But anyway, the fact that he made him put Mike Pompeo in that position is not surprising, because Mike Pompeo was initially anti-WikiLeaks from the very beginning, just like any other Republican was. So Trump was basically just listening to the first the main next main person in the room who said that who said we should do this, and then he just went along with it. I was like, yeah, no problem with that. I got no issues with that. I'll agree. Yeah, sure. So I mean, Trump is like that. He's he'll just listen to anything that he thinks is going to make is going to give more I guess cater to the more neocon types, even though those neocon types hate his kind of the way he talks and the cadence and the way he acts and stuff, and that's just the way they are, because they just can't, they love the civility. They're like the civility bullies essentially. But yeah, that's crazy though. So that's just kind of like the thing I wanted to go on, the little tangent I wanted to go on regarding the CIA after Compton, Jay Compton mentioned that, because that's when it comes to the CIA, their actual purpose is to not do anything to actually, help the American people or help keep us safe or any of that kind of shit. They just want to control. I mean, it's the NSA, the CIA, all these people that are involved in. They're part of the deep state, right? It's the NSA that spied on us. Why should we fucking trust the NSA for anything? The CIA, they've been involved in all kinds. The CIA was the fucking was the entity that was involved in fucking overthrowing the Iranian government in 1953 when Mohammad Mossadegh was the president of Iran, and he wanted to nationalize their oil system and give it to all the people. God forbid you do that. It's fucked up apparently. When he wanted to give the oil to all of the Iranian people, the Iranian citizens, the American government stepped in and just overthrew him along with the British government too, because they didn't want to have that. So what they did that, and then I think they even probably stole the oil too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, totally not surprising. This is the kind of corruption that our government is involved in, whether it's CIA, NSA, fucking FBI, whatever the fuck. They're all doing corrupt shit. So it's hard to take any of them seriously or trust them or anything like that. So this is obviously a very well-known account. Glenn Greenwald, everybody knows about Glenn Greenwald. Everybody knows he's a very anti-establishment, very, not pro-Democrat, obviously not pro-Republican, not conservative, not liberal. Definitely wouldn't call him progressive. I would say he definitely has a lot of differing views, but he's very much a libertarian in very many instances when it comes to supporting, when it comes to giving out information, leaked information, all that stuff. So he mentions here, let me see, he puts out a little, what is this, how many tweets is this? Oh boy, this is a lot of tweets. I don't know if I'm going to go through this whole thing, but okay, so anyway, I guess we will. It says, so it's been 6 days since political reporter Shrek Reports published a new book verifying the key emails from Hunter, referring to Hunter Biden's laptop, including Joe Biden's role in the China deal. Not one outlet that spread the CIA lie that it was a Russian disinformation, except Politico, has even mentioned it. Next one says that means that CNN, NBC, MSNBC, PBS, HuffPost, The Intercept, which is Greenwald's former employer, and so many others spent weeks before the 2020 election spreading what they know is a lie from CIA. And now that there's new proof from a mainstream reporter that they lied, they won't even mention that. The most damaging and aggressive agents of disinformation in the United States are large corporate media outlets. All journalists make mistakes. The way to know that they are deliberate disinformation agents is when they ignore evidence that they lied. That shows it's purposeful. 1 second here. Yeah, that shows it's purposeful. And then the next one here. Yeah. Other than the short note from his own outlet, the only mainstream outlet that mentioned this was when CBS stuck it in on their digital platform, but not TV. Yeah, of course. They're not going to do it on TV. They're going to do it on their, what is it, CBSN? Is that, yeah, CBS Nation, right? Or CBS News, whatever it is. Every one of the outlets that spread the pre-election CIA lie don't want you to hear this and don't want to mention it. So, I'm sorry, what did this person say? 1 second. Let me see here. So... Whoops, hold on, 1 second. So, hold on. Where's the sound? Here it is. So here it is. Not that I remember. Bro, come on. Not that I know of. Uh-oh. Look. Oh. Uh-oh. Wow. Interesting. Whoops. That is huh. Well, I mean, the fact that he was, what is it that they said that he was received an email from a Burisma. So Burisma is the company that he, so Burisma is the company that that Hunter Biden was actually working for, and he was receiving. So he was receiving, how much was it? 83,000? I think it was 83, 85,000, whatever the hell it was, per month, I think. I don't think it was a yearly salary. No way, no. It was $83,000 per month that Hunter Biden was receiving. Man, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty wild considering. I mean, considering the fact that the media keeps pretending as if he's like, oh no, he didn't do anything wrong. It's totally normal and totally totally within the bounds and this and that. Yeah, no, I don't think about that. I don't think that's no. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. Interesting little nugget, and the fact that Glenn Greenwald's right. The fact that they were able to mention it, or they only mentioned it on their little thing here, but not on like their actual, the actual CBS channel is interesting. So he continues on with his tweets here. He says, to see what liberal corporate media outlets really are, do this thought experiment. Imagine if Schreckinger, which is the guy, Schreckinger's books had proved the Biden emails were forged instead of verifying them. He'd be all over the place instead of ignored. That's how you know they lie on purpose. Yeah, had proved the Biden emails were forged instead of verifying them. Yeah, well, that's an interesting. I mean, I guess what he's saying is that the guy that wrote the book, he did a good job, but he didn't quite go the full way of like proving the thing that he should be proving, that they were, claiming that they were forged. Yeah, it's instead of just verifying them. And then the next one says, it's fine if people think I'm fixated on this. I am. CIA prevented an outright lie before the election to protect Biden and help him win. Almost every major liberal corporate outlet spread it. Big tech censored they reporting. I remember Facebook and everything. Twitter was like not allowing people to like even send. I remember Twitter was not even letting people DM articles. DM. This is private messages. Sending direct messages to other people that they know of the link of the article to their whatever followers or friends or whatever in private messages. That's crazy. And now a new book proves it was a total lie. And this is a clip from Russell Brand's podcast, I guess. Whoops. And it says, this though is what gives me hopes. At Rusty Rockets was this. Oh, it was Russell Brand. Took my Substack reporting on the indictment of Hillary's lawyer. Yeah, that was another story that happened recently, where one of Hillary's lawyers was like in cahoots with the Russians or something. And what it shows about the lies of corporate outlets, he produced a short YouTube video report. In 3 days, it has almost 2 million views. That's good. Yeah, Russell Brand is a really good guy. I really like his kind of more independent-minded. Libertarian streak, I guess, in many ways, depending how you define libertarian. He said just that segment alone, after 3 days with no corporate backing, is almost 4 times larger than Don Lemon's audience. Yeah, Don Lemon doesn't get shit for an audience, and it's on CNN. It's twice as large as Chris Hayes or Joy Reid's Comcast shows, which owns MSNBC. And I'll bet the number of people under 55 watching is more than 10 times what those shows get watching. What those shows get. And it shows the numbers is 1,824,000. Wow. And he has 3.8 million subscribers for his channel, Russell Brand's channel. That's really good. Yeah, his podcast has really blown up a lot lately. And then this final tweet from Glenn says, "This is why employees of media corporations with the job title, quote, journalist, so desperately agitate for more online censorship." Yeah, exactly. They know they'll have no audience unless it's the capital one, and they know that they will be exposed if dissent from their lies and propaganda can be heard. Absolutely. That's absolutely true. Hit the nail on the head on that one. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, well versed in all of this Hunter Biden stuff, but all I know is that he worked for a company and got an $83,000 income, and then apparently that company made deals with Joe Biden when he was, I believe, VP, and he got special sweetheart deals or something, or I think he may have even done speeches or something. I think Hunter, if Hunter or it was Joe or Hunter, one of them did speeches or something for the company, where they give the speeches, and it's essentially a bribe. So they get paid speeches, just like Hillary Clinton did. Same thing. When she did, when she got, she received money from Goldman Sachs, whatever, $225,000 a pop to do speeches for Goldman Sachs, where she would tell them that they're victims. Goldman Sachs is a victim, and they're treated like shit because they're rich or some dumb shit. But yeah, as usual, the way bribery happens in this country is like that. Let me see. So the next tweet is actually from Sit Uprising. This is a great account. This is somebody that this is actually the first person that followed me, because they were following me on my old account too, but they were the first person that followed me on this new account, after the old one got suspended. Very good account though. They said, if a town's only hospital closes because the CEO thinks it isn't generating enough profit, instead of blaming the town, maybe we need to rethink the purpose of our healthcare system. Wow. There was a hospital that closed because, wow, that's crazy. A hospital that closes because the CEO thinks it isn't generating a profit. I didn't even know that was happening. If that's fucking happening, that's crazy. Wow. Well, yeah, when you think about it, that's honestly not that surprising. When you think of our capitalist system and the way it operates, that is not a shocking thing at all. Shouldn't be. It definitely shouldn't be at this point. This is a tweet from No More Don't 8. Bernie sycophants equal 2017 Hillary sycophants. Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, I'm not even following Bernie Sanders anymore on Twitter. I stopped following him. I don't even fuck with that shit no more. I don't even fuck with the whole, and generally it's because I don't want to, I don't want to simp for politicians. I don't want to, fawn over politicians anymore. I don't want to be, I don't want to, I don't want to be fans of politicians. That shit is so lame. It's it's ridiculous. It's just so stupid how people the fact that politicians have fans is honestly sad, and that's honestly what it is. That's honestly what the case is with whether it's AOC, the squad in general, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Nancy Pelosi, name it. Barbara Feinstein. I meant to say Barbara Boxer. Dianne Feinstein. All these different people. All these. Joe Biden, even Kamala Harris, of course. All those Kamala stands and Kay Hivers, whatever. Those fucking toxic people. Yeah, they're all over the place. It's crazy. It's just it's amazing that that these people exist and they're able to be taken seriously. I guess by some. I guess I don't know by how many people, but some. What is the next tweet? Is there really a middle class anymore? So is there really a middle class anymore? It seems there are poor and the well-off and not a lot of people in the middle. Yeah, that's definitely true. So there's an account from a tweet from Just a Coin Toss, a good account as well. I also like their tweets as well. Anthony Zenkis also responded to that as well. Yeah, it's really sad though the way the middle class has been totally flushed out. It's crazy. They don't. It's like the middle class. Who cares? Who gives a fuck about the middle class anymore? It doesn't matter. The Democratic Party pretends as if they're relevant, but they're really they don't. They pretend they are, but they're not, and it's really shameful. We can obviously get into a deeper conversation about that, but that would take a lot of work. That would take a lot of time. I think it would take up the rest of this show. This is also from Compton J. Says capitalism doesn't allow for time to take care of your mental health. Yeah, that's definitely true. Mental health is something that's totally underestimated and ignored, for sure. It's not something that people focus on as much as they should. This is okay. So this is an interesting one. This is from Dev_Decker. It's a pretty good account too. I've been following them for a minute as well. Can't stand that American flag, but that's mocking the American flag, I guess. They say no. The person says no more overseas on horseback. So what they're referring to, and I was going to obviously get into it, but what they're referring to is the current border crisis that's happening between here and Mexico and Central America, where Haitians, people from Haiti, are actually immigrating to attempting to immigrate into the United States because of all the fucked up shit that's been going on in Haiti. I'm not aware of what's going on in Haiti. It's probably a lot of climate disaster and stuff. A lot of shit goes on over there regarding the climate, and a lot of hurricane stuff. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but I don't know if there's anything diplomatically going on in Haiti, whether they got like a new government or maybe we're involved. I don't think we're involved in many ways regarding Haiti, but whatever the reason is, the fact that they're immigrating here is definitely newsworthy. But the more newsworthy thing, the more newsworthy tidbit is that the Border Patrol is not letting them, just like they do with the Mexican and Hispanic people that are trying to cross the border as well, whether it's from Central America, South America, whether Mexico, whatever it is, their people are immigrating to into America, and they are doing the same thing they do to the Border Patrol is doing the same thing they are doing to the Mexicans that they do to the Haitians that they're doing to the Mexicans and everybody else that's trying to immigrate. And there's been pictures that have come out where they've shown there might be some pictures on this thing here, on this little thing here. Here it is. So here's one picture. Check this out. So this is one picture. I don't know if you guys can see that. No, it's not coming up, is it? Huh, that's weird. Okay. Let me see. Here's another way of showing it. Yeah, that's right. My bad. Yeah, let me just go to the tweet itself here. Here it is. So check this out. So here it is. So this is the tweet. It's from Jay. Yeah, that's also a good account. Jeffrey Venture. Spreading American goodwill to hungry refugees with hoofs and reins. So basically, the gist of it is that they are these Border Patrol agents. They're on horseback, as you can see, and they're like whipping and trying to like wrangle all these Haitian immigrants as they're trying to run away from them. And apparently whipping has been going on. So, the Biden administration was asked about this, and Biden was like, yes, this is a very terrible thing that you have seen and stuff, like totally trying to like pretend as if he cares, and like doesn't even, I don't think he even did anything to address it. I think they said like, oh, they're not going to be on horseback anymore or something. So they're not going to be on horseback anymore, but there's still going to be a lot to like wrangle together immigrants and the way they're doing it, whatever the way they're doing it. So this is definitely a story that hasn't gotten as much attention as it should, for sure. And they're definitely pretending as if it's like, oh yeah, well, this is just the way things go, just the way things are happening, and don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal, and we're addressing it or something, and then And then obviously, in many cases, as Kamala Harris famously said, do not come, when she was referring to the immigrants and just basically telling them, like, no, you shouldn't even bother coming to this country, even if you are trying to, which is very easy for you to say, but you are not the one who's dealing with fucking drug cartels and stuff and all the other, like I said, whatever issues that they're dealing with in Haiti and whatnot. So it's like, yeah, it's very easy for the vice president or president or whatever to say that. But the fact that Biden barely even does anything to address it, if anything, is very noteworthy. And as Dev Decker here says, what is Biden doing differently at the U.S. border? He's not doing anything differently. He's doing the same exact fucking thing. What did he say during the campaign? He says nothing will fundamentally change. He said it to a group of donors. Nothing will fundamentally change. Now he was probably referring to the donors, as far as the way the donors and the super rich can rig our system and fuck up our democracy, but our actual democracy, which the Democrats claim to care about, which they don't. But when it comes to money and politics and stuff, but that's probably what he's referring to. So the donors and shit will still be running everything and still be able to bribe everybody up the ass. But when Joe Biden said nothing will fundamentally change, this is really, in reality, he knew what he was saying. He was referring to everything, basically. It's like everything, all of the above, basically. Whether it's immigration, whether it's the economic system, whether it's our healthcare system, whether it's homelessness, all the different issues we're dealing with. Not free college, but as far as the education system, whether it's college and all that stuff, student debt and all that stuff. Yeah, so it's really shameful to see, and it's sad that anybody can make excuses for this, but obviously the Biden bros and everybody that loves Joe Biden obviously makes excuses for him. What else we got here? Oh, so this is an account, Lola Motts. I've interacted with them a few times. It's a pretty good account. Sorry, 1 second. They're saying, how are people not embarrassed enough yet to take, quote, resistor out of their bio? Tell me about it, bro. Seriously, like, who the fuck wants that? Who actually puts that in their fucking profile and is taken seriously? It's crazy. Like, there's like blue check accounts that have that in their on their things, on their accounts. It's crazy. So fucking ridiculous. Here's Caitlin Johnston again. She's tweets something about capitalism. She says, what is capitalism? Answer, capitalism is a system of transferring blame for society's problems from the people who cause those problems onto the people who are hurt by them. Absolutely true. That is definitely true. No doubt about it. Let me see. Punching. So this is an account I follow too. I don't know what her name is. She says L. I think her name is Lauren. I don't know what. I'm sorry. I don't know. Apologize. I don't know what their name is. But they say punching down is probably the easiest, most efficient way for insecure people whose society and lifelong brainwashing have left feeling inadequate to feel better about themselves. It's the only way I can make sense of this mentality. Yeah, that's very true when it comes to, especially when it comes to, like, the way politicians attack and smear regular people. Like the people that, like, don't vote the right way, or like, oh my God, how dare you vote for the Green Party, and how dare you not vote the right way or vote for Democrats because they're so much better than Republicans, which they're not. How dare you do that? That's so terrible. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. So, yeah, but that's from my experience at least. That's a majority of what the punching down, as they were referring to, that goes on for sure. It's very, very prevalent among Twitter, social media in general. So this is another account. Tweeted something. His name is Joey Rack. I followed him recently. He says, it shouldn't have to be said, but if you're an adult still living with your parents and you're unemployed, you're not the only one. You should not be ashamed for it, especially if you're actively looking for work. It's not your fault. So unfollow if you disagree. No, I totally agree. And it's amazing that a lot of people make fun of that. It's not easy to find a job out there right now. I'm having trouble finding a job. I'm unemployed at the moment. I'm living by myself, but I'm unemployed at the moment. I've been I'm on unemployment. Well, they actually cut my unemployment benefits for everybody, actually. So obviously, as many people know, hopefully the Democrats will at least do that right and reinstate the unemployment benefits. But that's definitely something that that people need to the people that, like that other person said, punching down. So in this case, a lot of people like to punch down at the unemployed and the people that lived in, still with their parents. Unless you're like mooching off your parents or something, that's a different story. So you're just like, just taking money from them and just stealing their, stealing their money, which is totally fucked up. I've seen examples of that before. People just taking money from their parents, just doing whatever they want with it, and still, just being like, just being moochers. That's a totally different thing. But in this case, if you're still, actively looking for a job and stuff, which I am, like I said, but I don't live with my mom, and I haven't lived with my parents for a while, but yeah, it's definitely it's tough to get a job out there. I'm trying. It's not easy. There isn't a lot of options outside of my profession, which is journalism. There might be a situation where I might have to get a job outside of my profession, which I've done before. It's not that I haven't, but I haven't done it too much since graduating college, though. But yeah, definitely not going to hate on the people that are dealing with that kind of stuff. Oh, that's cool. There's this account, Queer a la Mode. He's I think he does a podcast, a joint podcast with Rania Khalek, I believe. Rania Khalek, she's a Lebanese journalist. She what is it called? Left Bitches. I think this guy does a podcast with her and a couple of other people too. So apparently he recently joined Mint Press News. That's great. Mint Press News is, Ryan Wentz, that's his name. I didn't know his full name before. So yeah, that's crazy. That's great though. Mint Press News is a very, very good outlet. What's the girl's name that works there? I forgot her name. There was this other great reporter. She's a very good reporter that works there. Maybe she commented? No. But anyway, there was another good reporter that works at a lot of good reporters that work at Mint News Press for sure. Yeah, this is Dems RGOP is Stained Glass is the name, but he retweeted John Cusack, who was a big time Bernie supporter, but he was always a big time neoliberal type, and he kind of just support Biden because he's better than Trump kind of person, and he actually said after shocking story about CIA illegal acts, Biden administration must drop Assange charges immediately. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his position, to be honest, I don't know what his position on Assange was prior to this. Maybe, I don't think he was anti-Assange, but I was talking earlier on the show about how the people that, were all about the Russian hacking shit, were also the people that hated Julian Assange and WikiLeaks too, because of exposing Hillary Clinton. And obviously, Hillary Clinton's anti-Russia, and so, do the math. But he was pushing. So John Cusack, he's a Hollywood actor. I don't see him in very many movies or anything lately, but anyway, he's a Hollywood actor, and he was pushing a lot of like the Russian Putin hacked and all that shit, all that Russian hacking bullshit. So I'm surprised to see that he's doing this. So I don't know, maybe he's doing this more on the principle of like exposing the CIA, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was even pushing like, yeah, Assange is like pro-Trump and like he's agreeing with Trump and he's whatever, he's on Trump's side and stuff like that, all that bullshit. So, but it's good to see that he's retweeting this. I definitely wouldn't see myself retweeting him either, but just like Dems RGOP, yeah, that is pretty surprising for sure. What is this? Okay, so this is a tweet from Ryan Grimm, which if everybody who knows who Ryan Grimm is, it's mocking reporter Ryan Grimm from The Intercept, who's kind of become a kind of a big time, I don't know, squad AOC type defender. But anyway, so his account is called Ryan Grimm, to mock Ryan Grimm. And he says so he tweets this tweet from, I guess, Biden, but he says herd immunity was supposed to be 70%, not 90% plus. No nation on earth is 90% plus. Actually, I think a few aren't they? I just looked it up recently, but I could be wrong. Here, is this it? No, it's another list. I think there was, what was it, UAE or something. I don't know who it was, but I saw a list somewhere recently. But regardless of that, he's pointing out how Joe Biden says Biden says U.S. will get back to normal after 97 to 98% Americans are vaccinated. We're like not even, I think we're not even 50% right now. All right. I think we're at like 40%. I forget what the number is, but it's really low. I think maybe people that got one shot, I think it's like 70% or something. This is crazy. So let's see what hold on, let's see this tweet. Let's see what he says here. Whoops. Fuck. Sorry, 1 second. Let me see here. Check this tweet out here. So he says, okay. Oh, sorry. He's literally getting the shot. Oh, is he getting the booster shot? Oh, he's getting the booster shot. Yeah, clearly. We know you're not a scientist. Okay, so I guess he mentioned there that once we're 97 to 98% vaccinated. Yeah, good luck with that, bro. That's not going to happen. Anyway. And then so Crying Grim also points out, here are two of the highest, Singapore and Israel, in their cases. And it just shows like a bunch of, yeah. So I'm sorry, was it vaccinations for Singapore, vaccinations for Israel, and then I guess new cases and deaths for Israel, and then new cases and deaths for Singapore. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I mean, what it is. We're not going to be able to get to 98, 97%. That's crazy. I don't know why I don't know why Biden thinks that's going to happen, but just because you're on fucking camera and getting the booster shot doesn't mean people are always going to be like, yeah, I'm totally going to get the booster shot too. Yeah, this is a tweet from Alan McLeod. He also worked for Mint News Press, the one that the Ryan Wentz guy joined, as I mentioned. He says, you say you don't want refugees, yet you support the bombing of their countries and coups against their leaders. Yep. Curious. Yeah, very curious. So. What is this? Oh, Gritty. Yeah, Gritty's a great account too. What does he say? He says, if we all vote hard enough. So, I'm sorry. And so in the first one, it says, I'm sorry. So in the first one he says, fuck. He says, to make this bigger, he says, I'm all for, I hope we can see these. It says, I'm all for ending this oppressive system, but if we do it without violence. Okay. And then the next one says, so by magic. Yeah, how else are you going to end this oppressive system? If we all vote hard enough. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not going to, yeah, good luck with that. And then, I'm sorry, the next one says, it says, me realizing that, so people bitching about gas prices, me realizing that America has already been destroyed and we're all just going through the motions till the shooting starts. Oh, God. Don't say that. God forbid. Let's hope not. I don't believe in God, but God forbid. Yeah, it's everybody that just believes that, like, if you just vote hard enough, or you just go to the ballot and just vote for the fucking politicians or the party that you want, yeah, everything's gonna be wonderful. This is oops. Yeah, Anthony Zenkis retweeting the Border Patrol agents, what they're doing to the Haitians. Yeah. So. Oh wow, look at this. So this is from Sabby Sab. I think she's been on the Fred Hampton. I don't know if she's an official host, but she's been on Fred Hampton Leftist before. She says it has begun, and it's referring to dozens of Massachusetts state police troopers. It says police troopers resigning over COVID vaccine mandate, union says. So they're refusing to get the vaccine, I guess. So the cops are resigning. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, that is interesting. Although not really surprising. I mean, a lot of the holy shit. Nothing political, but that's interesting. This is Nico House. But no, what I was gonna say is it's interesting because a lot of the cops are anti. Yeah, it's not surprising because a lot of them are anti. You know, they're going to be anti-vax because they're right wingers. So, and a lot of the right wingers are anti-vaccine. So it's not that surprising that they were. But that the fact that is the beginning is pretty crazy. So this is. It says, what's his name? So Nico House retweets this graphic. It says, "Everyone wants to have sex with me," and it's Joe Barack Obama saying that's not what fuck Joe Biden means. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if Joe Biden actually thought that. So, so this is Robbie Yeager. So Robbie Yeager is he's a great account. So he's commenting on Nina Turner running for the congressional seat again. And he says, "Unless some introspection has occurred following an embarrassing defeat, history will repeat itself. It'll just be more expensive this time." And then retweet this. His next tweet says, "If Turner yet again falls into the progressive traps of equating fundraising with voter outreach, spending too much on merch / consultants, blowing ad budget too early, etc., this won't go too well. Also expect a lot more super PAC spending on both ends." Yeah, see, that's the thing. It just gives more time for the super PACs that are going to be anti-Nina Turner to just have more money to spend against her. Do they not get it? They think like, oh yeah, well, if we just do this early, it's gonna this just gives them a fucking heads up on the fact that she's gonna be running. She could have hidden this a lot earlier, right? I mean, I don't know why she had to do it such in advance, but that's because she wants to raise her money. But then this just gives more time for them to get more stuff on her to use against her. So yeah, good luck to that, man. Robbie Yeager is right. And by the way, Robbie Yeager he's a great account. He focuses on a lot of like campaign finance issues. So when it comes to whatever's happening regarding donors and who's funded by who and who's giving money to who and these super PACs and those super PACs and all that stuff. So in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Robbie did post something about. I don't know if he wrote a story on it or not, but he did post a story about how, or quote tweet or something about how she was also, that Nina Turner was also running I don't know if it was a super PAC, but it was definitely, a political action committee, a PAC, and she was, using money from that too. So I don't know. Could be. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't remember the details of it. But there was something that happened there where she was doing something, and then he mentioned it. So he's very good. He's a great makes you want to call him reporter or investigative journalist, whatever he is. But he uncovers a lot of these things. So yeah, it's good stuff. And yeah, I definitely agree with him that the super PACs are the ones that are going to be going after Nina are definitely going to have a lot more time to do it. So this is an account. What's his name again? Lance99. Do I follow them? Yeah, we follow each other. So this is an account that his comments on this stupid ass account. So let's see what they said. It's Occupy Democrats. It's basically just pro-Democrat. Basically, it's not Occupy Democrats. They just want to fucking co-opt the Occupy movement, which was a legitimate progressive movement. Occupy occupy the Occupy movement, or co-opt it at least, and just pretend to be on their side. But they're saying breaking Anna Navarro reads Donald Trump Jr. the Riot Act on The View, calling him a, quote, dimwit with no skill or talent or significant accomplishments, and says his father is, quote, butt is the size of a studio apartment in New Jersey. Retweet if you think she absolutely nailed it. Oh my god. So fucking lame. Anna Navarro is this stupid fucking, she works, I think she's on CNN too a lot, but she's on The View now apparently. I guess she's the conservative voice on The View, even though she agrees with whatever all the fucking shit libs say. But compared to Meghan McCain, which, trust me, I wouldn't prefer. I wouldn't prefer Meghan McCain to be on there, but she's a total neocon. Her dad was like part of the Contras in Nicaragua and stuff, so she's like a scumbag. She was the campaign strategist or something for Jeb Bush, and I think she may have worked for George W. Bush as well or something. Either way, she's a longtime Republican operative and stuff, and she's like loved by the fucking shit libs and stuff out there. And if we just go back to this tweet, it's like, mic drop, oh wow, and like they all love this shit. Dimwit calls out Dimwit, yeah, good one. So, oh my god, ew, what the fuck? Studio Orange. All right, well anyway, as you can see, like I said, a lot of the shit libs love that account. It's love her and love when she says something. I don't know. Yeah, I see her on Twitter, but anyway. Sure, they follow a lot of her tweets and stuff too. But anyway, so she says that on fucking The View, and yeah, they're all fucking loving it. So, this KAIO 99, Lance 99, I guess. They say, I'm convinced the dumb Krasensteins are running this dumb account now. So yeah, the Krasensteins was a pro-Democrat Dem loyalist group. I'm sorry, Dem loyalist account. What was the name? Something. I forgot their first names. Krasensteins, and they were just like all like Dem loyalists, pushing like anti-Trump, anti-Russia stuff all the time. Just bullshit, and Russian hacking, misinformation, conspiracy theories and stuff. So he's saying that they're running this account. Yeah, like I said, not surprising. They're not Occupy Democrats. They're not Occupy Democrats at all. It's ridiculous. So. And then, yeah, David Michael says, responding to a tweet that says, pharmaceutical companies are making billions from COVID vaccines. Pfizer, $3.5 billion, first 3 months of 2021. Looks to make $33.5 billion in 2021. Moderna, $1.75 billion, first 3 months of 2021. It will make $11 to $15 billion in 2021. And apparently New York Times and Wall Street Journal reported this. Okay. And then explains why no Medicare for all in the United States. Yeah, exactly. And then Michael David 41 says, "Holy shit, how will we pay for this?" Yeah, exactly. That's mocking all the right wingers and their neoliberals and neocons. Say, "How are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for this?" They always say like shit like that. This is Max Blumenthal. Yeah, he's retweeting. Wow. He retweeted something. He retweeted this. So this is regarding Julian Assange. The only barrier to Julian Assange leaving Ecuador embassy is pride. Or leaving Ecuador's embassy is pride, yeah. So, and then he said this one aged well. And this was 2019 he retweeted this. So 2019, or tweet, yeah, go a little bit lower here. That Max Blumenthal tweeted this, and he says, flipped on NPR and heard a report on the mean things WikiLeaks did to the State Department, as told exclusively by state officials. Then following some eclectic electoral beats, interview with James Ball, I don't know who that is, ex-WikiLeaks, who above said Assange had nothing to fear by leaving the embassy. Ex-WikiLeaks? This guy? James Ball? Huh. But anyway, so he said this one aged well from 2018, so he retweeted it tweeted it in 2019, and then again pointed to it I guess what was it, yesterday, today, whatever it was, and he says aging like fine wine. Yeah, exactly. So these are all like the headlines. The WikiLeaks founder is, what does it say? The WikiLeaks founder is unlikely to face prosecution in the U.S. Charges in Sweden have been dropped, and for the embassy, he lost his value as an icon since when? Depends who you ask. If you ask somebody like me, no, he hasn't lost his value as an icon. Every major event or crisis eventually turns into a multi-billion-dollar windfall for the oligarchy. Very true. Oh, this is David Soroda. It's always a battle against corruption. So this is, he wrote an article called always a battle against corruption. This is from his outlet called Daily Poster. He says, you only really need to know two things about the reconciliation battle. It's not a fight between progressives and centrists. It's a fight between progressives and corruption, and two, the outcome will likely be determined by whether progressives hold out. They won't, I don't think. I think they're going to buckle, but, we'll see. So, unless there's something I'm missing, they're probably going to buckle, if they haven't already. David Sora's outlet is very good. They report a lot of good news. David Soroda himself is okay. He's gone at it with, what's his name, a few times. With Jimmy Dore a couple times, so, yeah. I'm like, not really, like, as pro David Soroda as I used to be, but, he was a big, obviously Bernie support and stuff, so I appreciated his takes from back then as well, because I think he was the speechwriter, I believe. Yeah, the speechwriter for Bernie Sanders, I believe it was. So that's interesting for sure. And so I'm pretty, I would say I'm pretty pro. I would say I'm pretty pro David Soroda for the most part, especially when it comes to his reporting. Just like Jordan Chariton, I'm not a big Jordan Chariton fan these days, but he does good work either way. Like he does good, what do you call it? He does good reporting, like on the ground reporting, which is really appreciated. So that's something that we can definitely appreciate from reporters like him and whatnot. So yeah. Well, anyway, so that's going to be the end of our show. That's 2 hours we did. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you did, even if you didn't, hopefully you check out the clips later. I'm going to be posting different separate clips from the show, and you can also watch the live show, a recording of the live show again if you want later on. I'll have that up. And as I said before, please, if you can subscribe to our channel, to my channel, if you can like this and share it as well, I will also appreciate it. If you could also go to my Patreon, you can donate something to my Patreon, patreon.com/left_blacksmith. That would be much appreciated as well. Again, follow me on Twitter at @left_blacksmith, and hopefully I'll see you guys again next time. Take care.